our foundation works in the rural areas of Kano because we do recognize that women represent the fulcrum. They're the catalyst to ensure the well-being of the entire family and the entire community. And because we have this misinterpretations of faith and the way it's being used for early marriage, we need to work also to open minds. So we bring in, as she said, traditional and religious leaders who will convince the community that it is okay to go to school. This trust element is very serious. We also encourage the women to come to school. We encourage teachers, female teachers, to come in to teach them. And we talk about other things that are life skills. There's a huge population of adolescent mothers. They learn not only about reading and writing, they learn about malnutrition. You find that when a young girl is educated, her family benefits in many dimensions. So she's also talking about how to boost the nutrition levels of their family, the hygiene, the nutrition. She encourages, when a girl goes to primary school, she makes sure her children, those are statistics, that her children go to secondary school. And if she goes to secondary school, you find that her children go to university. So it's very important to capture that population, and it's something I think should happen in places like Yobe, where we have these huge disparities, that there is a policy to capture these women who have dropped out of school for various reasons. Of course, there's poverty. And if there are families that even if the school is situated in front of their houses, because the children supplement their incomes, they will not put their children in school. So they will go out. It's very important to think about all these various dimensions for the purposes of inclusion. Otherwise, we will continue to have these rates of these high dropout rates. And no matter what we do, we can build all the infrastructure and bring in all the computers. People will not join. So you need to have community ownership. Thank you.
Thank you, Maryam. I believe Maryam Augie from Ayaya Foundation, you are also doing similar intervention. Can you share with us what you are doing to get really women and girls involved in education and the whole community before I turn to my other colleagues on my left side who are going to talk to us what they're doing to also bring the invisible more visible in the slum, but also talking about boys and men's education. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Madam Moderator. What we have tried to do in the communities that we work with is work directly with the local women there. We have recognized that a lot of schools where we've done our advocacy visits have a lot of female teachers. Like one of the schools where we went to had an average about 44 teachers, 38 of the teachers being female, only 6 or 7 being male. So we recognize that and use these women to be the ones to talk to other women to make sure that they put their children in school. And another thing that we've also done is see how do we empower these women economically. Like she said, the children are an alternative source of income. They do not see the long-term importance of education. To them, education is a short-term thing. They don't see, why would I put my child through school for 8, 10 years when I'm not getting a penny out of it? When I can put my child on the streets and on average I'm making 200, 300 naira a day. So we try as much as possible to empower them with a certain kind of business where these women can now come using that money to make sure that their children go to school. I'll give an example of what happened recently in an advocacy visit that we went for. We asked the children in the school, what do you feel the importance of girl-child education is? Now, this answer is sad, but also gives a bit of hope. This 7-year-old girl looks at us and tells us that girl-child education is important because it stops your husbands from maltreating you. Now, a girl of 7 years old recognizing that fact is sad, but it gives hope to know that we can capitalize on that. capitalize on the mothers, capitalize on the children, capitalize on the female teachers to make sure that we make a proper advocacy outcry on the importance of education, and most importantly, long-term importance of education, which these women or these communities completely lack. Thank you.
I would like to bring in Mr. Otto Orondaam, founder Slum 2 School Project. I believe you are doing a wonderful job bringing a population, the slums. Usually we don't talk about slums, but to bring them back to really the surface, on the table, to see what you as a citizen and your organization are doing to ensure that no matter where we live, no matter where the children are, they have their rights. Their right to education is upheld. Thank you
very much. Thank you very much. As a nation, I think we are really threatened at the moment. I say we are sitting on a time bomb, and we really wouldn't recognize it because we do not really look deep into those issues. I feel that even if we have one child who is out of school, we should feel ashamed as a nation. And until we start to value the value of human life, until we start to value children, I think we would really not get close to solving the issue of out-of-school children. Nigeria has a very high population. And if you compare this population with several other countries across the world who also have high population, you find that ours is increasing drastically. A little statistics which I just tried to find from UN Habitats, you find out that China has the highest population, followed by India and US, Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, and Nigeria. And from 1990 to 2010, China's population has increased by 17%, India by 40%, US by 22%, Indonesia by 30%, Brazil by 30%, Pakistan by 55%, Nigeria by 62%. Now, it's estimated that by 2025, Nigeria will have about 240 million people, and by 2050, we'll have about 440 million. Now, a huge percentage of these people live in deep poverty. Lots of these people live in slums. Now, the slum population is a particular demographic that we do not really talk about. I've been here since yesterday, and we've been talking about inclusion, we've been talking about school education, we've been focusing on how to get children back to school, but we've not talked about the slum population. I'm just going to give an example of one community which I think most of us are very conversant with, and most of us know. Where we started our project, a community called Makoko, somewhere in Lagos. Now, this is a community that I think we have it should be the largest slum in West Africa with over 200,000 people living in this particular community. Over 60% of the people in this community are children. Over 70% of those children do not go to school, which means that we have thousands of children in this community who are out of school. Now, as an individual and as an organization, we are working with lots of young people who are tired of complaining and sitting down and talking without, we come out of conferences and summits with policies, we do not implement these policies. We go back to the same issue all over and over, years, decades, and our future is threatened. As a young person, I feel so scared about the future. Dr. Obi made a beautiful presentation this morning, which was something they worked on some years ago. And today we can see the effect of poor education in our society. What's going to happen in the next 50 years if we live here without a clear strategy and a clear policy? And I think it's very important that we come to the point where we start implementing policies, where we start getting outputs from conferences and summits like this and implementing them to create a better society and get these children who are out of school back to school. One thing I want to say finally is education should be free. We are talking about access to education, but education is not free. Education is subsidized. What are we going to do to a woman whose only source of income is sending her 5 children out in the morning to sell? And you tell her she should send her children to school, where she has to buy school bags, school uniforms, school sandals, pay some amount of money to get these children through school, and you think she would want these children to go to school. I don't think that will really solve the problem. We need to ensure that education is free for every child and not just subsidized. The government is paying a huge subsidy, but there's still a very huge amount that these caregivers who are very poor need to pay. And I think until we can ensure that every child has free education across the country, I think we would be able to get to solve this problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Otto. Let me turn to Dr. Shettima Kole. What is the role of philanthropy to ensure that we are not talking only about supply, but we are talking about really the demand also? The role of philanthropy, but looking at really the demand for education. When you look at the statistics, it's good. The government is saying we are investing in education, we are investing, but for us, we have to look at the demand. I would like for you to speak on a little bit what Mr. Rock discussed earlier, but also to talk to us about the role that philanthropy can play into a partnership with government. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I just want to illustrate the statistics that my just colleague mentioned about India and China by saying that China's out-of-school children is only 2.3 million. India's out-of-school children is only 4.3 million. Given the demographic profile of those countries, here in Nigeria, we are only 177 million, and we are talking about 10.5 million children. So this really sends the signal to us in terms of the catastrophic situation that we are living in as a country. Moving forward in terms of the role of philanthropy in trying to increase demand, I think one of the that we have to think about is in terms of the quality of education. Because unless we improve the quality of our education system, you'll find that a lot of people will not really like to go to that education. And what is the point in sending your child to a school, spending 7 years, coming out, but cannot even read a simple sentence? So it doesn't make a sense. It doesn't make any investment sense. It doesn't, just a waste of time. Or what is the point in sending your child to go to primary school, to go to secondary school, comes out without a job, without a skill, without nothing? So when we talk to parents most of the time and encourage them to go to school, what they tell us is that, but look at the other 5 who have gone through school, they have come out, they cannot even write their names, they cannot even write their own a letter to anybody else. What is the point in us doing that? So I think that as one of the ways in which philanthropy can intervene, in my view, is how do we improve the quality of education? And some of this improvement does not necessarily mean investment in terms of money. Simple reallocation of resources. I think Obi made the point out that spending money, which is what we do as a country, wherever there's a problem, we spend money. But there are a number of studies that have shown that actually spending more money on education does not necessarily improve the quality of your own education. For example, if you look at what happened in Ekiti State, in terms of the improvement, in terms of the wide outcome, it was not spending of money. One, make sure that your teachers are actually well educated, they sit for exam, they are certified, are they teachers or not? Secondly, no automatic promotion for students. You have to pass your own exam before that. Those simple things do not require money. It's just common sense that we need to apply, in my view, to improve equality. Thank you.